a good, confident, informed Wayne Rooney.
I think when you've got top players like Wayne Rooney, Fletch, you've got to get him the ball. I don't see Wayne actually touch the ball when he plays the game. The ball, here's me talking now, but I love possession football, but you have to play possession football with an aim, with a target. Get the ball into him if you can get the ball into him, because he can make things happen. He can beat people. He can set up a chance. He can score a goal.
I play Martial down the middle. I play Wayne as a 10. Yeah. Then I think you need pace in wide areas. Memphis, I know he's been a little bit inconsistent in the Premier League, but at times he has moments of magic. You play him off our left-hand side, and on the right-hand side you need a bit of pace too. And I just think that's the one thing this team lacks is pace. Wayne Rooney is a 10 with Martial up top. That's a great combo.
But I still think no matter who plays,
you've got to get
the ball doesn't get up there enough.
Right.
I think when the old Man United teams we played in them before, and the great teams that you would have played in, one of the main things is you make the other team defend. When you play against Man United now, I don't see the other teams coming off with their hands on their knees going, wow, that was tough, we've nicked a 1-0, a 0-0, or we've just got away with getting beat 1-0. Yeah. Nowadays, it's like, we're disappointed we haven't got something, because I don't feel I've worked.
You've seen what Scholes said this week, haven't we? Seen what Scholes said. Do you think he's right there, Scholes?
Yeah, I think he's quite right in a lot of the stuff he said. I think that I think this system, like Ray was saying there, I don't think it helps a centre forward to play particularly well, because they don't get the ball. Players in them type positions need touches of the ball to gain confidence. Then, when the chance comes, they can finish them. Simple.
Well, the way they set up as well, Manu, you play with Mata on the right-hand side, who will naturally come infield. You've got Valencia playing at right back. Now, he's the only one that's going to get a ball in, Valencia. Now, I think Scholes was saying Andy Cole, Sheringham, Van Nistelrooy couldn't play in this team, purely and simply that they don't get the service coming in from wider areas. When Rio played, they had Beckham on one side, Giggs on the other side, Neville flying forward there, and the balls were just being flashed across the face of the goal, and they had chance after chance after chance. Now, you can't say that happens anymore, because it doesn't. And the Manchester United way of playing is to be extremely cavalier, especially at Old Trafford.
Yeah. And they're not that anymore. They're very slow. The ball goes east and west. It always goes in wide areas, and by the time it gets to Wayne Rooney, he gets crowded out. I think it's almost 4v1, 5v1.
They have a great opportunity when the side goes to Old Trafford, a great opportunity to get players back behind the ball, and then it becomes difficult.
And we are talking about, excuse me, Wayne Rooney at this point, because Robbie's trend table tells us up. It's going through his mind at the moment there, Jurgen Klopp, Rio, as he has a look around Stamford Bridge, a ground he knows well from his time at Borussia Dortmund. He'll have been here and seen games. I mean, what do you think?
I think he understands the position that Mourinho's in. He had a very similar situation last season at Dortmund, and I think he had an incredible team with great success that out of nowhere struggled with confidence, made mistakes, and all of a sudden that ship started to stink. In the end, he ended up walking away. So I think he feels for Mourinho. He understands how fickle this business is, and I think as a Liverpool manager today, he will want to capitalise on a Chelsea team that is struggling for confidence, because his Dortmund team last season, as good as they were, struggled with confidence and never figured it out.
It's a great comparison, that.
Yeah, but I think he got them out of the position they were initially in, though. He got them up the table.
He did.
And he got the job done in that respect, in taking them from one extreme near enough to another.
Because they had patience and they gave him time. I think Mourinho needs the same thing.
But that's the thing I think here that is for Mourinho to prove. Has he got the patience?
It was quite evident as well, Rio, that Dortmund didn't want to make the step forward because they sold Lewandowski, they sold Goetze. So you're taking the... You can't replace those players. No matter how much money you bring in, you've got to find people that can actually go in there and do the same.
It's the same with Sherwood. Sherwood loses Benteke, Fabian Delph, Wiseman, Vlad, all their best players, and then brings in players you've never heard of. And then you're expecting miracles from the people that own the club. That's why people say, there's pundits out there, he should be a manager. He should be a manager. They've lost him to the game. Well, they're the reasons why. Because you see things like that happen. The manager, obviously, he probably doesn't even know half of the players that have come through the door at some of these clubs. They're coming in, but the responsibility lies with the manager.
I think that's putting you guys off a lot, actually. The players that have just finished, the Rios, the Owens, that have finished, I think it's putting them off actually going in and having a bash at it, to be perfectly honest.
Would you like to be a manager?
And we're losing a lot of good talent.
I'm doing my badges, and I would love the opportunity to be a manager.
What would it take,
the only way I'd say, I speak to loads of my ex-teammates, Owen, etc., and the only way I'd go in, which I think the only way anyone should go in, is if I've got total control. You only go in if your name's going to be up in lights, and the person who's going to get the blame at the end of the day if you're losing. If you're winning, you'll take all the adulation as well. But I want to know. I don't want to wake up and then Tom, Dick or Harry's come through the door. I didn't know about it.
Rio, one of the most important things I think you need obviously players, but you need the right team around you, whether that's assistants or the chairman. I think one of the most important things I think for any coach is...
You'd like to be a manager as well?
Yeah, but I agree with Ray and Rio. I think you're only as good as the chairman you pick. Because if you... Roberto Martinez, so far, has picked terrific chairman in Swansea, Wigan, Everton. And those guys give you time. Everton struggled mightily last season, but they stuck by him, and they're back there again. I think if you pick... You see Cardiff there, that whole Vincent Tan situation, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You pick the wrong situation, the wrong chairman, your career's over before it even starts. Yeah, and that puts a lot of the ex-players off.
I think as long as you've got the in writing there in black and white, no one comes to this club or leaves this club without my say-so. Then you can go in there with a free
We've got all kinds of things planned for this part, but it's turned into such an interesting chat completely off the cuff.
But I think this is a really interesting point.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're losing so much knowledge and talent because these guys won't go in there and do it. That I think is a great shame.
Okay, Rio, so let's for argument's sake, I want you to come and manage my club. What do I need to say to you, and you, Owen, as well, to convince you to try it? How low would you go to come into the game? What would be the requirements then? This is the audition now.
I think it just goes back to what it was like in the old days, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Would you manage a League Two club to start off, for argument's sake?
It all depends on the project. I don't think you can just dismiss anything. I think I'm not someone who's got the experience to say, listen, I've worked at the top level, I'm not going down there, I've not been a manager. So you sometimes have to take whatever options are there if they are sitting in the right way. But I think it's paramount. It's the right people that are controlling the club, but you have to have the power to say, no, I don't know him, he's not coming in. The technical director likes him, but I don't. So I'll make the final decision for you.
But the thing is, you know the Premier League, you know Champions League football. It's difficult for us to go and manage at that league level because, League One or Championship, because it is a very different league. You look at Gary Monk at Swansea.
You wouldn't then?
No, not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying you got to trust those people know that league better than us by far. We know, winning football, Premier League football, Champions League football, in and out. There are different margins at this level than it is at that level. So I think sometimes you need to manage what you know. Gary Monk's doing a terrific job at Swansea. He didn't have a ton of experience before. Guardiola didn't have any at Barcelona before that. I just think you need the right philosophy, the right dynamic, and then it can work.
You're spot on. And what he's actually saying is spot on. In that when you go down lower, if you're not an understanding person and can't understand the frailties of some of the players you're going to be with, that's not only as a footballer, but that is also... Because when you're playing with guys that are so